All right, it's time to wrap up this project. We are going to create these last two versions where we've brought in a photo. So what we're going to do is jump back over to the document where we left off. We've got this third artboard that's just a copy here. I'm going to delete these waves because I don't need them. And that text now I can't see, so I'm just going to change the color to white so it doesn't get lost. And let's bring in the photo. In your assets folder, you should have this c.jpg photo. I'm just going to drag it right in here. Now, one thing I should talk about is when you bring the object in and you see this X through it, what that means is it's a linked graphic. So as long as your file stays in the same spot here, you won't have any problems. But let's say I move this up a level and I come back in, it's going to say some files are missing or modified and it can't find it. So what that means is this is basically just a shell. It's referring to the original document here. So if you delete that, you're going to mess up your document. So a couple ways around that would be to go to your window, down to the links window, and here I can see that link I have. Click on this little drop down, and then we are looking for embed images right there. So click on that, and now that X goes away, and this image, although it is an image that's placed in here, it is now inside this document and will travel with this. So if you save it and then send it off to somebody else, this will still be there. All right, now that we've got that covered, let's go ahead and create our next version here. So we've got a smooth sea, never made a sailor, made a at the top, and then skillful sailor at the bottom. And this image. So the way we're getting this graphic, we've got a couple things going on. We've got the image here as a hover. You can see those blue lines showing where the image is, but it's masked again behind another rectangle. So I've got the rectangle that's masking this image. If I double click in here, we can see my mask shape here, and I can actually change that mask. If I click back out, I change that mask. Double click back in here again, grab that corner, I can bring it back up. Or I can click one more time in there, and now I'm down inside of that linked file. If you can see the path right here, the layer, the clip group, and then now the linked file. And I can move this around inside of that mask. If I double click back out here, and you'll see the image moved. So we're going to create the same thing over in our new document. All right, so let's go ahead and bring our picture over here. And it's in the way, so I'm going to throw it all the way to the background, Command-Shift, left bracket to put it all the way behind everything else. I'm going to click once on this shape, Command-C to copy it. And the reason why is I want to use this shape as part of the coloring, but I also want to use one of those shapes as a mask. So now I'll hit Command-F to paste it in front. I'm just going to change the color again so you can see I've got two shapes there. Shift-click on my graphic and hit Command-7 to make a clipping mask. So now I've got my picture, and below it I've got that the blue shape. So the way that we're getting the waves of, if we look at this, it looks a lot different than what we're seeing here. We're seeing the straight up photo, but I want to change the coloring. So if I click on this once, I can see that I've actually got a blend mode, if we look under our transparency window, of soft light being applied to it. So what that's doing is it's interacting with the layer below it. So if I click on this once, come over to transparency, change it from normal to soft light, we should see everything behind it starting to show through. All right. Now that is great. If you want to, you can click through these different blend modes and see it has a much different feel to it depending on how it's interacting with the layer below it. All right, so now let's address the layout here. So we've got a smooth C, never made A. I'm just going to copy this, Command-C to copy. And I'm going to throw this behind, Command-Shift left bracket to throw it all the way to the bottom. I'm going to click on this blue layer once, Command-Shift left bracket to throw it all the way to the bottom, and that way my anchor and text layers are above. I'm going to click once on this text layer, hit delete, and just delete this text in here so we can get things in place. Click once on this anchor, click on the white thumbnail here, and then again I can't see the color because I brought back those anchor points, but I can hit Command-H to turn that on or off. So if I hit Command-H to turn it off, I can see a reminder that opacity was set to 30%, so I'll put that back at 100%, so it's a white anchor again. Command-H to bring back my guides here, and then I'm just going to scale it down with my free transform tool. And then up here at the top, I'm going to click on my align to selection, change it to align to artboard so that these selections come back. There, now I know it's perfectly centered like we've got here. And I had copied this, so this is still on my clipboard. I'll come back over here and hit Command-F to paste it in front, which will paste it right in the exact same spot as it was in reference to this artboard. I'll click once down here, Command C to copy. I'll come back over here, Command F to paste. Now, again, I'm kind of cheating because I'm not showing you how I set this up, but you get the point. You can kind of nudge these fonts around to make them the size you want. Here we can see this is Lato Thin at about 67 point, and you can just kind of play with those a little bit. I'm going to hit Shift-O, bring back my artboard tool, hold down the Alt key, click and drag to the right, and then hold down Shift to make sure it's in line here. And now for this last option, we have a very similar thing. The text is at the top. I'm going to Command C to copy that text, jump back over, delete these two versions, Command F to paste in front, so it's going to paste it right in line. And now we want to change what's going on here with this image. So if I click and drag to the right a little bit, we can see we've still got that blue layer down below, and it's locked right now. So if I go to Object, Unlock All, or Alt, Command 2, now I can click on it and see what's going on here. So this actually, if we click on it, I thought this blue layer was in front, or I'm sorry, this image layer is in front, but what's actually happening is this blue layer is on top, and it has a lighten blend mode being applied to get that coloring. So if I come back over to this image here, and let's move this over again just to remind ourselves. So in this image, I actually have this above, and it's got a soft light blend mode, but I want to put this back to normal, and then change this one. What was it again? Let's take a look. It's set to lighten. So I'll jump back over here, click once on that shape, change it to lighten. But you don't see anything happen. Well, that's because it's below the image we're trying to affect. So I'm going to click once on this guy, hit Command Shift, let's see, left bracket, the one right to the right of the letter P, to throw it all the way to the bottom of the stack. And now we can see this top blue layer is affecting the coloring here. So I'm just going to drag this back up, put it in line there, just to make sure it's actually truly in line. I'm going to make sure I align this to the artboard center and vertically. Zoom in a little bit. And now my anchor is still pretty big. Let's see what it did in that last version. I had it small. Oops. I had it small in the center, and I had this blue color. So I'm just going to copy that, Command C to copy. I'm going to delete this anchor for now, hit Command F to paste. And so you can see how you can quickly come up with a few different variations here. And now what we're going to do is export these artboards. So hit Command S to save. And now it's saved it. And I only named those first couple artboards. So in my artboards layer, let's see, I've got Shift-O, click once on there. So Comp 1, I'm going to drag this to the top of the stacking order. And this will be the order if you export a PDF that they'll come out as. I'll click once on this next one, that's Comp 2. I'll click once here, that's Comp 3. Oops. And then I'll click on this bottom one, that's Comp 4. And I have no idea where this extra artboard came in or how I did that at what point. So I've got two artboards, one stacked right on top of the other one. So sometimes it's good to check that out. I'm just going to delete that one. It won't affect anything. Okay, Comp 1, 2, 3, and 4. And again, we can name these anything we want. Now when we go to export this, this is going to have the name Typography Poster 3, because this is the third time I've attempted to record this video for you. Anyway, and it's going to put that name in there, and then it's going to add Comp 1 or Comp 2 or Comp 3 or Comp 4 at the end of the file name. So let's give it a try. We'll come here to File, Export, and I'm going to go to Design Files, Files Sent, Comps, and we're going to change this format from PNG down to JPEG, and you see there's a lot of different file types we could use. I'm going to click on Use Artboards. So the difference is if I didn't click that, it would spit out everything that I have, including this white text here. So in fact, let's just do that real quick so you can see. I'll click Export. I'll leave it as CMYK. Resolution, I'll change this to 300 since we're going to print it, and I'll hit OK. And now if I jump over to those files sent, I see I have this JPEG, but if I open it up, it's a JPEG. This is exactly what I expected because I've done this before on accident many times. It exported any piece of artwork I had as one big JPEG. Sometimes that's helpful, and this is where, see where I cropped that initial anchor with a mask, and I didn't do this one. So, you know, maybe you want to crop these off if you're going to export it this way, like the waves. But if you let Illustrator do this for you, let's come back over here, go to File, Export. And we'll use artboards this time. We'll use all of the artboards and we'll stick them back into that file sent. I'm just going to change this from poster 3 just to poster. I'll hit export. So this is the name, typography poster. But when I export this, let's see what it does. And give it a second here. We'll jump over to Finder, and now look at these names. So it was typography poster, and then it added underscore comp1, comp2, comp3, and comp4. So this is a great way to quickly batch export your JPEGs, and notice it cropped off those waves and the anchors that were hanging past.